Resident Evil 5 didn't really feel like Resident Evil to me. It had, I mean, and 4 wasn't really the same either. I mean, because you pretty much had the the people that were zombie-like but not really zombies, and you had well, the people were infected with the plagas. Um, you had the giant uh, lake monster, and you have giant ogres in that game, and those are fun. Um, Resident Evil 4 was a little more difficult for me to play because it was just more difficult. Um, but you don't have this mysterious trunk sitting everywhere where you can just go and get your stuff. And I forgot to mention, you don't have that in Zero either. You just have to manage your possessions, and you can't just leave anything anywhere and hope that it'll be there later. Um, and 4 and 5 are similar in that way. 5, you've got, well, I guess they're zombies. They're not really zombies. Um, they're just more some sort of infection that the people have contracted, and more ogres. Um, but it didn't really feel. I mean, and 4 isn't that much like the original games either, but it's just a continuation with more stories about people you know and like. Um, you also have out there now Resident Evil Umbrella Chronicles. This is Wesker, my love. No, not my love. I'm just kidding. I don't. I Wesker is one of my favorite characters because he's so evil. Um, but no, I don't love Wesker. Um, okay. I love Resident Evil because it's a well thought out game. You know, there's a nice background story, and it's just it's all there. It's like a movie, um, which is why I hate the movies. Because we've got 3 movies. We have hardly any of the characters that we know and love. And okay, so maybe we want to have some sort of progression and say, oh, Resident Evil's growing. Um, but you have a story tailor-made, and you totally change it. They totally changed it for these movies, pretty much, for me. I mean, and kind of ruined it even. I mean, you've got Alice, and who the heck is Alice? Never heard of Alice? I watched the commentary and I was a little annoyed because it was, yeah, Alice through the rabbit hole, down the rabbit hole, Alice in Wonderland. Resident Evil is not Alice in Wonderland. Resident Evil is a story about an evil corporation who were irresponsible and greedy, and their greed, of course, backfired on them, and it caused a major contaminant leak and destroyed this entire town. And then the characters are fighting against the evil corporation. And okay, that's what they're doing in the movies. But it, these movies gave me zombies, and that's all. And the game Resident Evil gave me so much more than just zombies. And it was about more than zombies. It was about all kinds of scientific blunders. Um, there wasn't enough of the game in the movies for me to say that this is Resident Evil. Because it's not. To me, this is a zombie movie. And it's a good zombie movie. It's just not a Resident Evil zombie movie. And this is a zombie movie. And it's, once again, it's not a bad zombie movie, but it is not a Resident Evil movie. And this too, another zombie movie, not Resident Evil. I mean, you can put Wesker in it all you want, but it's still not going to be Resident Evil. And you can put Jill in it. I mean, they had Jill in the second one. They had Claire Redfield in the third one. But that doesn't make it Resident Evil. You can't put characters in it representative of the game and say it's the game. Because, I mean, it's a movie, but it's not Resident Evil. It's not Resident Evil to me, and it's not Resident Evil pretty much to anybody else I know. Um, the only Resident Evil movie that I've liked was Resident Evil Degeneration, which I can't seem to have misplaced that video. I don't know where it is, or DVD. Um, that was Resident Evil, to me, and maybe I am a little biased because it's Claire and Leon together again finally. But yeah, to me looked like if you're going to do a continuation of Resident Evil, say, well, that isn't a progression of the story, I want to progress it and do something different, then you should progress and not start at the beginning. You should start somewhere later on, kind of like Degeneration. It takes place after Leon saves the president's daughter in Resident Evil 4. And yeah, well, Resident Evil Degeneration is a Resident Evil movie. It, to me, I mean, there's another little game called Silent Hill, which looks kind of like it's trying to be Resident Evil, and it's not. It's not as good as Resident Evil. It's not as much fun to play as Resident Evil. The graphics aren't quite as good to me. I actually like Silent Hill 2 better than Silent Hill 1, and actually 3 also. I haven't actually played all the Silent Hill games, but I've played through 1, 2, and 3. I haven't played 4 or Homecomings or Origins or any of that, and I hear there's a new one coming out for the Wii, which I'm kind of excited about. It's meant to be a remake of the first one for a more powerful system than the Sony PlayStation. It, to me, was very interesting that when the Silent Hill movie came out, to me, it was pretty much Silent Hill. You could see, watching the movie of Silent Hill, I felt like I was watching Silent Hill. And granted, they changed the main character to a girl, but let's be honest, Harry was basically a girl. He ran like a girl, he acted like a girl, he was a girl, and so that was okay with me. But there were many elements that you could, you could be just flipping through the channels and stop there and be like, what the, this is Silent Hill. You know it's Silent Hill. And when I'm watching these Resident Evil movies, I know that I am not watching Resident Evil. But anyway, that's all I got to say about that. But anyway, I, once again, appreciate anybody that suffered through this. That is all.